Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads as we can continue with Samantha Saves the Day, Chapter 3, Teardrop Island. Samantha and twins set out early the next day. Their packed baskets were jammed with cookies and sandwiches and cookies, butterfly nets, bird guides, and magnifying glasses. The same equipment they started out with every morning. But this morning, Samantha had her mother's sketchbook tucked away under the picnic blanket in her pack basket. The Admiral came down to the dock to help the girls push off. "Where are you off to today, mateys?" he asked. "Just exploring," answered Agnes lightly. "We'll keep an eye on the water," warned the Admiral. "It could turn nasty. The storm could twist around and hit us today. Anchors away. Cheerio." "Cheerio," the girls called back as their canoe glided into the deeper water. It was another hot day. The sun burned so strong it seemed to have bleached the sky white. "As soon as we get started, I'm going to go straight to the waterfall," announced Agnes. "It looks so cool in the pictures. I'm climbing right up the rock cliff at the end of the island," said Agatha. "I can't wait to see the view." "I want to see everything," Samantha said. She wondered what Teardrop Island would be like. Would it be the way it was in her mother's pictures? Would she remember being there with her parents? Would it seem friendly and familiar, or scary and strange? The lake was flat and peaceful. They paddled steadily, and soon Piney Point was out of sight. "Watch it," rocks ahead warned Agatha from the front of the canoe. The lake was suddenly narrow. Steep hills rose up on either side. Big boulders stuck up out of the water. Jagged rocks hid just below the surface. The water turned white where it splashed against the rocks. The girls were quiet. They gripped their paddles and steered carefully. They had to zig and zag to find the best path around the rocks. "Go to the left," Agatha would shout. Then, "Quick, to the right." Samantha felt sweat from heat and fear dripping down her back. But the canoe was high in the water, so it slipped smoothly over the rocks beneath it. It was so slender, it slithered between the boulders as easily as a fish. Finally, they were through the narrow passage into a wider, deep part of the lake. "Phew," said Samantha. "We did it," cheered Agatha, waving her paddle overhead. "I bet even the Admiral couldn't have done better," boasted Agnes. Now the canoe seemed to float by itself across the water into the cool shadow of Teardrop Island. As they came near the island, the girls could hear a chorus of birds singing gaily, as if the island itself were welcoming them. They saw a small patch of pebbly shore when they landed the canoe. The rest of the shore was made up of big rocks. As soon as the water was shallow enough, Agatha hopped out of the canoe and pulled the front end out of the water and up onto the pebbly shore. Samantha and Agnes could quickly gather up their pack baskets and climb out. They were so excited they would rush up to the steep shore into the piney woods. "We're here," crowed Agnes. They threaded their way between the tall pine trees and moss-covered rocks. There seemed to be an old path, but it was so overgrown with giant ferns and long grass it was hard to tell. Overhead, leaves fluttered hello, and squirrels leaped from tree to tree, inspecting their visitors. "It's like a jungle," exclaimed Agatha as she batted a branch away. "Now we're really explorers." "It looks like the enchanted forest in Sleeping Beauty," said Samantha, "as if it's been under a spell for 100 years, just waiting for us to come." The branches of the trees hung so low over the path it was like walking through a green tunnel. But once in a while the girls would come in an open sleigh where a surprise batch of wildflowers grew. "I hear the waterfall," cried Samantha. She ran ahead of the others to a sunny clearing, and there it was, just looking exactly the way it did in her mother's painting. A lacy curtain of water splashing down giant steps of stones. The water spray caught the sun, and it made little rainbows. Samantha's heart thudded. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. Without a word, the girls pulled out their shoes and stockings. They bunched up their skirts and waded in the shallow pool at the foot of the waterfall. They got as close to the fall as they could and let it spray mist in their faces. The water was icy cold. It felt wonderful, their hot canoe ride. "Next time we come, we'll bring our bathing suits," said Agnes. Samantha grinned. "I don't mind getting wet," she said. She pulled off her midi blouse and skirt and walked straight to the waterfall in her chemise and drawers. Agatha was right behind her. Ooh, they shrieked with glee as the water showered them. Come on in, Agnes, it's freezing. Agnes took off her blouse and skirt, folded them carefully, and began to walk slowly in the pool. Then, oops, she slipped on mossy stone and fell plunk on her bottom. Samantha and Agnes laughed as they helped stand her up. That's the fastest way to get wet, Samantha giggled. She let the water pour down on her head and neck and shoulders until she couldn't stay any longer. Then she ran onto the sunshine, then back into the falls again. After a while, the girls were cold to their bones, so they stretched out on a warm rock to dry off. Samantha lay on her stomach and put her face in the water for a drink. Oh, she said, it's so cold it makes my nose numb. Agnes nodded. My skin is all tingly, she said, and I'm hungry, and let's have our picnic. They spread the picnic across the blanket and sat cross-legged, holding their big sandwiches in both hands. This is the nicest place I've ever been to my whole life, said Agatha. It's so peaceful, said Agnes. All you can hear are water birds and the breeze. Now that you've seen the waterfall, do you remember coming here with your mother and father? Agatha asked. Samantha kicked one leg in the water, sending sparkling drops in the air. I think so, she said. I feel as I've been here before, but it's all mixed up. It's almost like dreaming. Well, it's a dreamy place, said Agnes. She tilted her face up to the sun. Water drops hung in her hair like pearls. I'm very glad your mother drew those pictures, said Agatha. Otherwise, we'd never have come here. Samantha looked around. It gave her goosebumps to think she was in a place she had been with her mother and father, and nothing changed. The same rock and those very trees were all in the pictures her mother had painted. Come on, said Samantha. She stood up and brushed the crumbs off her lap. Let's get up and explore. I want to find all the places my mother drew. She took her mother's sketchbook out of her pack basket. All right, agreed the twins. The sketchbook was like a treasure map. It led the girls on a long, happy hunt. First, they found the grassy fields where Samantha and her parents used to have picnics. It was just as sunny as it looked in the pictures Samantha's mother had painted. The girls looked a long time before they had found the big rock that was in another picture. They found flowers growing in the shade of graceful white birch trees, the same